Shabbos. This week, we're commemorating a very powerful day. On the 11th of Nisan is the day of the Rebbe's birth, and this year is 120 years from the day that the Rebbe was born. We know 120 is 220. You might have heard that from your grandmother. It's the blessing that we give each other, that we should live to the age of 120, because 120 is seen as the date of completion, the age of completion. Moshe Rabbeinu lived to exactly 120 years old, and so therefore it's seen as such. So when we come to the Rebbe's 120th birthday, a certain level of completion of the Rebbe's work comes to the fore. There are programs being planned throughout the world in a huge way. We will have our own gathering on Sunday night, the day before Yud Aleph Nisan, with Rabbi Levi Wolf from Central Synagogue, and it is a very big time for us to rededicate ourselves to the Rebbe's work, to what the Rebbe wanted from the Jewish world, from his Chassidim and followers, and from those who we influenced, which those numbers continue to grow exponentially. So one of the things that I'd like to share is one of the messages from the Rebbe is the importance of commemorating, celebrating birthdays in itself, and to use it as a time to reflect upon the purpose that we're here. And one of the customs that we do on a birthday, not just a birthday, but actually throughout the year, is that we say the portion of Tehillim that is associated with our date of birth. And that what that means is that when one reaches the age of 13, then he starts saying the portion of Tehillim, chapter 14, because he's entering his 14th year. So every year, one is 52, he says chapter 53, and so on. And so therefore, it's a good suggestion for people to take on, to do every day the Tehillim that is yours. We also say the Tehillim that's the Rebbe's. This year, we're going to enter into 121, which is one of the most powerful chapters in Tehillim. I call out to God, from where is my salvation? My salvation comes from Hashem. Let me just share one anecdote about the Tehillim associated with your birthday. That is a very powerful one. There's an officer in the Israeli army. His name was Ziv Shilon. One day he was near the Gaza border, and they see a package, and they're concerned. As the officer, he goes to inspect, and as he's there near the package, by remote control, the terrorists blow up the package. His left hand gets blown away completely, and his right hand is terribly damaged. He's going through many, many, many months of rehabilitation. And finally, the doctors come to him. They say that we cannot see salvaging your right arm, and we think you'll have to amputate that as well. During this period of time, Chabad Victims of Terror, led by Rabbi Kutner in Israel, suggested that Ziv come along with about a number of soldiers who were injured on a trip to New York. They went on this VIP trip, helicopter trips over Manhattan, taking them in a ball game, etc., over this period of time that they wined and dined them and gave them the best of what New York has to offer. On the Friday, the 23rd of Iyar, they came to the Rebbe's gravesite. Rabbi Kutner showed each one how to write a kvittel, how to daven to Hashem at this holy place, and suggested that they read the portion of Tehillim associated with their birthday. Ziv, at the time, was 25, so he read chapter 26. But then he told Rabbi Kutner, you know what, I made a mistake. My actual birthday is in 10 days, so really I'm only 24, and hence I should say 25, so he says 25. Afterwards, they go to Manhattan, to the Upper East Side, I believe, to to a Chabad house led by Rabbi Vigler. And they, there, Ziv tells Rabbi Kutner that he's very, very despondent. Because originally he read chapter 26. And in chapter 26, it mentions your hand 3 times. It says your palm, your hand, and then right hand even once. Whereas when he later on read chapter 25, there was no mention of arm. He didn't see any message for himself. Rabbi Kutner asked him, why is it that you say that your birthday isn't yet? And they made the calculation, and they found that he was going by his English birthday. But indeed, his Hebrew birthday was on that day, on the 23rd of Iyar. And hence he was strengthened by the fact that his Kapitel Tehillim that he read there at the graveside of the Rebbe mentioned palm, hand, and right hand. And indeed, a few days later, on the Tuesday, he showed Rabbi Kutner how he's able to move the fingers in his right hand for the first time since the terror attack. And indeed, that upcoming Hanukkah, he lit the Chanukiah with his right hand at the Tel HaShomer Hospital in Jerusalem. So this is something that we can do, a small thing, as a gift to the Rebbe, really a gift to ourselves. Say the Tehillim daily that is associated with your birthday. Say the Tehillim daily that's associated with the Rebbe's birthday. It's very short, very powerful chapter this year, which we'll talk about in the future. And that could be a small birthday gift that you give the Rebbe on this very special day. Good Shabbos.